During this leadership campaign, I campaigned as a Conservative and I will govern as a Conservative. And my friends, we need to show that we will deliver over the next 2 years. I will deliver a bold plan to cut taxes and grow our economy. I will deliver on the energy crisis, dealing with people's energy bills, but also dealing with the long-term issues we have on energy supply. And I will deliver on the National Health Service. But we all will deliver for our country. And I will make sure that we use all the fantastic talents of the Conservative Party, our brilliant members of Parliament and peers, our fantastic councillors, our MSs, our MSPs, all of our councillors and activists and members right across our country. Because, my friends, I know that we will deliver, we will deliver, and we will deliver. And we will deliver a great victory for the Conservative Party in 2024. Thank you. Thank you.
And there comes the standing ovation. Liz Truss winning the Conservative leadership race, and she will be the next Prime Minister. She won with 57.4% of the vote compared to 42.6% for Rishi Sunak. A convincing win, although closer than some people had been expecting. Not as decisive a victory as Boris Johnson got over Jeremy Hunt when he won more than twice as many votes, or also David Cameron over David Davis back in 2005, when he also won by a margin of around 2-1. But a decisive victory nonetheless, and I would imagine that Liz Truss right now is drinking in the success of the leadership campaign across this summer. It's been a gruelling 6 weeks for both candidates. And now the in-tray, as we've been saying this morning, really is bulging. You can tell that certainly by the speech that she gave, where she said she's going to take immediate action on energy to help with bills, but also to look at the long-term supply issues as well. That will be the number one issue governing the Liz Truss premiership. She also took a moment to pay tribute to Boris Johnson, her predecessor as well, saying that he got Brexit done, that he crushed Jeremy Corbyn. We know, of course, that she has hugged Boris Johnson tight throughout this campaign. And I have to say, the applause in the hall when the co-chair of the party was talking about Boris Johnson, perhaps showing that that was a tactic that definitely helped get her over the line. Well, let's go to the hall now. We can talk to Sky's political editor, Beth Rigby, who's been listening in to the speeches. Beth, what did you make of it?
Just a reflection on a couple of things. Well, it wasn't quite the landslide that Liz Truss might have hoped for. Indeed, in the polling in the run-up to the votes or during the ballot process, she was at 66, 65%, the kind of levels that Boris Johnson secured when he became Prime Minister in 2019. Not as good there for Liz Truss, by my rough calculation, coming in with about 57, 58% of the vote against 42.3% for Rishi Sunak. So his allies that said to me it would be closer are correct. But in terms of what she was saying, she promised that she will deal with the energy crisis. She thanked her supporters and she paid homage there to Boris Johnson, which led to a rather awkward moment where the crowd weren't sure whether to applaud or not. But look, in reality, this is a Prime Minister facing the toughest in-tray in over 4 decades, and that is going to bite tomorrow when she goes into Downing Street. And from a party management point of view, she might have been happier with a bit more cushion with the membership, because the party is deeply divided over how to handle the economic crisis, and she might have hoped for more support from the membership. But there's someone that has a view on that isn't me. Let me bring him in. It's Brandon Lewis. Brandon, the former Northern Ireland Secretary, could be the Justice Secretary tomorrow afternoon.
We'll see what the Prime Minister decides. We've got a new Prime Minister that's coming into place tomorrow. I think as we said here this afternoon, we've seen actually our party take this process very seriously, challenge the candidates, great depth of talent in the party, and I think that does bode well for the future. And
Brandon Lewis, just in terms of the actual result, it was a bit tighter than perhaps the Liz Truss camp might have hoped for. Rishi Sunak's team said to me over the weekend they thought it would be a bit closer, and she didn't do as well as Boris Johnson in 2019, did she? Do you think it reflects the divisions in the party? I mean, what do you make of the result? A little bit disappointed?
No, it's a good result. I think it's not hugely different in percentage terms to roughly where Boris was last time, but actually I think what it does...
It is quite. It's about 8 percentage point different.
Okay,
that's quite a lot.
Yeah, it's in the high 50s percent, which I think is a good result. It's a very clear majority. I think it's one of the things we needed to see, which is good. And I think it also reflects the sheer depth of talent. Exactly what Liz Truss was saying just a few moments ago. The depth of talent across our party. We were blessed with such great candidates, actually, right from the very beginning.
And Brandon, just in terms of the depth of talent of the party, is there going to be space for Rishi Sunak backers in the Liz Truss administration? We know the party, the parliamentary party is very divided, the membership's clearly divided. Will she try and reach out to those that didn't back her in order to try and build party unity? You might not know, but what would you advise?
Well, we all want to see the party come back together. And as the chairman said a short while ago, and as the new leader of our party has just said, the party needs to come back together. We are a big white tent. Again, it's one of the strengths of our party. I'm sure one of the things that our new leader will be working on with the team through today and into tomorrow is looking at how we make sure that all of the party is reflected across government. And that's one of the benefits of the Conservative Party. We have this wide tent that brings together so many views, but when we're focused and
But Boris Johnson didn't do that. He had an ideological cabinet in which he kept other views out. That's fair, isn't it? And that was part of the problem with the party, no?
Well, I think one of the challenges we saw through the end of the period of Boris Johnson wasn't so much about what's the areas, but actually we were still working on delivering our manifesto, and I think that's why we are focused on getting that manifesto delivered, on what people elected us to do, and something we all committed to do in 2019.
And two more questions, because the thing that everyone actually watching this today cares about are their energy bills, which are predicted to go up to an average of, I can barely say it, £3,500 a year. It's like having another mortgage in October. Liz Truss, what's she going to do about it? I know you can't sketch out the details, but there is talk today about potentially freezing energy bills, billions of pounds, 100 billion plus of action to help families and businesses up and down the land. What can you tell me about the direction of travel if you can't give me the detail?
Sure, look, you're absolutely right. Of course, these things are market sensitive, and I can't give the detail ahead of a fiscal event, as people call it, that we'll have very soon. What I can say is Liz, as a candidate and as outlined today in her speech, her acceptance speech as the new leader of the party, has been very clear. She knows this is an issue. We see this in constituencies like mine in Great Yarmouth in Norfolk, where energy prices have been rising, oil-fired central heating has been rising. We want to make sure we're dealing with this. She has set out a general journey of travel. It's to deal with the specific issues people are facing, with the increased costs now, as well as the long-term issues of supply. And we'll see the outcome of that in the next week or so here.
Tens of billions of pounds?
Well, as I say, I'm not going to go into predictions about what will be in a fiscal event.
But in principle, she understands.
In principle, she gets it. She wants to deliver on this for people in a way that makes a material benefit.
If she doesn't meet the moment, do you acknowledge, if she does not meet the moment on this issue with the public, she is done for. It will set the tone of her premiership, and it will determine whether the public see her as a credible Prime Minister that hears them. That is fair, isn't it?
And that's why I think